Hello and welcome to Damn Kind Conversations. What do you trust in? How can you let go without totally unplugging? These are the final burning questions that I'd like to address by reflecting on the conversations I've had with my guests in Season 1. The central themes for today's episode are the following: trust, evidently, patience, prioritization, control, and surrender. I'd like to start with a personal anecdote which builds actually on the behind the scenes commentary I shared in the last episode. It feels like quite a nice way to set the scene for today. To be entirely honest, there are days that I don't trust in myself. Days where it can feel like too much. And in addition to life and work and everything else that goes on during the day, I can feel like I don't have capacity for this project. And there's a pressure when you're putting yourself out there in a kind of content format where you have to produce things on a certain cadence, you have to produce things at a certain quality, and it can start to build up. It can feel awful if you're not meeting those expectations that either you've set on yourself or you feel like are being set by others. That being said, as I alluded to in the last episode, there's a way to take control. There's a way to prioritize things in a way that works for you. And it requires a certain kind of patience for yourself, to have compassion for doing it in a way that works for you in any given moment. And I think I personally have had this moment where I've had to say no to following that cadence and to only pick up the microphone when I feel like I have capacity for it, and to surrender to not doing it when I feel that moment arises where I'm pushing up against something that makes it feel uncomfortable for whatever reason. Could be a bad day, could be a deadline, could be a poor night's sleep, whatever it may be. There's a way to do it in a way where you surrender to another way and reprioritize things to a cadence that works for you. And I've really tried to do that with this project. I think a lot of what is shared today is applicable and relevant. So today we're going to talk about trust, we're going to talk about patience, we're going to talk about prioritization, and specifically I think the thing that sort of brings it together is the balance between control and surrender.
I trust in people that I believe are wiser than me. I believe in wisdom. I trust in wisdom.
My truth. Mine. No one knows better than yourself. But yeah, sticking to your truth and your intuition, and also what really drives you, what you love in this.
My first answer to that question was going to be, I trust in myself. And in a way, that is the universe inside me. I know there's some religious or spiritual undertones there, and I am no longer afraid of that. In the business world, I think there's definitely a church and state. And while I'm not religious, I am deeply spiritual, and I do trust that magic is inside us. So all habits were formed in the past. Whether it's wanting validation from someone else, whether it's smoking cigarettes. But we only ever have this moment to make a new choice. I have to say, you can achieve pretty wild things in tiny but continuous, dedicated slivers of time. The question I get most right now in my life is, how did I write a book leading an agency through a pandemic and having 4 kids during a huge, tumultuous moment of change when the world was falling apart? And I will say it took 3.5 years, but lots of tiny increments of time at the dining room table. And you can achieve amazing things in small slivers of dedicated, I call them tiny daily steps.
one task at a time, one day at a time, one task at a time, day at a time. It's really helpful when I feel uncomfortable, stressed, or overwhelmed.
It's my relationship with time that is the problem. How I was spending my time, what I wanted out of my time. I wasn't prioritizing or putting the things that mattered most, the relationships that mattered most, as the highest priority. And that was the immediate glimmer of hope. Don't give up, don't give in. It's possible. But you have to stay really centered in what matters to you, because you can't do it all. I like to say you can't have it all, because it's a phrase that's been thrown around in culture a lot, especially around women. You can have the family, you can have the career, you can have the money, the wealth. But I'll reframe it in this instance to say you can't do it all, but you can do all that matters. You have to stay really clear and centered in what matters to you and allow the rest to fall away. Where I see people burn out is that they're trying to serve all things, to be all things to all people. Whereas I have learned, and often in hard, awkward ways, that as long as I am super clear about what matters most in each day, in each moment, I can deliver that with excellence. And that's how you make it to the top. Everything it's so easy when you write a bio, when you post on social media, when you sum things up so beautifully and neatly, which we've all learned to do. It's part of our culture. But the inner game is the same no matter what you achieve. So even with all the accolades, I still wake up in the morning with anxiety. I still can be racked with self-doubt. I still wonder, am I choosing the right path? And so it's being in constant conversation with yourself.
I think that I really believe in when we stop controlling things, letting go. And it's not easy because we are living in a society that tells you that you have to plan everything and prepare for everything. But we never know. It can stop tomorrow. When we let go and trust the process, I trust the universe, I really believe that things come to you. And of course, I think that when we follow what we preach for, also, important. For instance, I do believe that words are spells. And so even talking to myself negatively, it's not good. It's not going to be good for my health, but everything. I do believe that I create negative, like energetic negative thing, and it's going to act like a magnet. And same if I talk to myself positively, I definitely think around me is going to be more positive.
So, we're at the conclusion point for this episode. I'd like to summarize everything that's been shared into something that I feel really encapsulates everything in a more concise way. Evolution comes when you master the paradox of control and surrender. We must navigate the delicate balance between exerting our will and yielding to the flow of life. It's about trusting ourselves, embracing wisdom, practicing patience, and prioritizing what matters most, our journey. As before, I'd like to leave you with a few reflective thoughts and questions to ponder. Finding the right balance. Striking a balance between exerting control and embracing surrender is crucial. Reflect on the areas in your life where letting go could bring you more peace. What aspects could benefit from a more active guidance? Trust in self and the universe. Trust in oneself and the greater universe is a foundation for peace and purpose. Consider how this trust influences your decisions. Are there instances where deepening your trust could alter your approach to challenges? And lastly, embracing patience and prioritization. Patience and prioritization are essential in dealing with life's complexities. How do these practices shape your daily experiences? Where could increased patience, better prioritization, enhance your journey? By considering these questions, we can deepen our understanding of this delicate balance between wanting progress, yet trusting in the ebbs and flows of states that work best for us at any given moment in time. And that's it. That's the last reflection I'd like to share with you today. I do have one more episode where I'm going to just bring everything together before we move on to the next season. Thanks for listening.